Hi, everybody, and welcome to Princess State of Mind, episode 13, Lucky 13. This is the show where we talk about fiction, fairy tales, and the fair sex, or something. And this is our second, maybe third, I don't know, episode all about Disney March Madness, which is heating up and getting very exciting right now. I have two amazing guests to talk with today about all kinds of Disney Prince things. The first is author and Disney March Madness co-host C.S. Johnson. Hi.
Hey.
And my second guest is Oxford lecturer, biblical scholar, my brother, Spencer Klavan. Hi.
Hello. Brother is my favorite of my titles, but
excellent. It's my favorite too, but
excellent.
Other people might want to know other things. Anyway. So here we are, almost to the end of round 2 of Disney March Madness. The final poll will be today to determine the 3 princes that are going to be in, I guess, the semifinal. So this week sadly, we lost Prince Eric and Prince Philip. And today we will determine whether it is Kristoff or Aladdin who makes it. So it's going to be Prince Eric and Prince Philip are definitely out, and either Kristoff or Aladdin will also have to be out, which means we've got the Beast, for sure Flynn, Ryder, and then Kristoff and Aladdin, one of those two. Do you guys have any guesses, Kristoff or Aladdin? I'm going with Aladdin.
Well, hold on. Can I just briefly back up and make the dark confession that you are seeing my live reaction to making this discovery, because I did not know that Prince Eric had been kicked out, and he is just the best prince.
But so can I say that it was Prince Eric versus the Beast?
Oh, it's just like, I feel like I'm living in retrospect this entire drama. It's so painful.
It was very dramatic.
And now we have your reaction for posterity. So.
This is like those YouTube React videos.
We'll make
where
a
like,
GIF
now we
or a
watch.
GIF.
Yeah. Right. Whew, I just need to take a moment to process. I think this is a lot of information. Really.
Would you have gone with Eric or Beast?
Oh, good grief.
This is family love.
The problem is that, like, I know that the Beast is the right answer, but just emotion. I mean, like, Eric is like my Disney soulmate, but the Beast, I think, is probably more just like
my
for the
Disney
world.
soulmate.
Oh, your Disney soulmate, right? We know that. That is true. So yeah, I mean, this was the right decision. It's just really hard. Okay,
it's just really hard.
It's just really hard to
Prince Eric.
Yeah. It's just, and having to say goodbye to him here and now is a lot. But I think I'm over it. I think I'm gonna.
Well, I have been learning. Actually, my education on this began last year when we did Disney Princesses for Disney March Madness. But I have been learning the intense popularity of the movie Tangled, and Flynn Ryder, who is one of the ones that is still in, is like incredibly popular. And I'm very afraid that when he comes up against the Beast, that the Beast is going to go out. Spencer? Have you seen the movie Tangled?
Yes, I have.
And do you like it? I'm confused. I really like the movie, but I did not understand how popular it was.
So it's very funny because my boyfriend was just over here. We're at our parents' house, and we were all having dinner.
Yes.
And
hello.
Oh yeah, and I said tomorrow I'm going on Faith's podcast and discussing Disney princesses, and he said, well, Flynn Rider has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And I have to confess that I then had to sit and sort of think who Flynn Rider is, what his I mean, like, that movie was actually pretty good. I think it was one of my favorite of the new ones. But like, isn't he just kind of very handsome and a little bit annoying and cheeky? Like, what's his deal?
Okay, CJ, do you have a response to this?
Yes, I do.
Oh no.
So, Flynn Rider's probably most redeeming quality that I would say is that he's capable of change.
So it's actually capable of being redeemed is an actual redeeming quality.
That is good. I mean,
it's a very old kind of romantic trope, but women like fixing men. If you look at the people that are left, they are kind of like the bad boys of Disney as far as they're like Prince Eric and Prince Prince Philip, or they have it together. It's like, oh, all I got to do is save the dragon, kiss the princess, wake her up and stuff. Hang on one second.
Yeah, I was going to say that the ones that are left, right, the Beast, Flynn Rider, and either Aladdin or Kristoff are like the bad boys. We're done with the Prince Charmings of the world, and we're left with like the guys whose arc. I mean, last time we were talking about like there's the ones that are sort of like CJ, you put it perfectly. Like there's the ones that are kind of like have it together, like Eric and Prince Charming and the prince from. Like they're already kind of like fine, and then there are the ones that need some kind of transformation. It's like a cat situation.
Yeah, well, there's actually so one of my favorite TV shows is actually Futurama. I love it. I watch it every year. And there's an episode about love, and they're actually talking about candy hearts. And there's this we try to stay on top of all the pickup lines. And this one guy's like, "Did heaven fall for an angel because you have nice cans?" And then the other guy says, "My two favorite things about myself are commitment and changing myself."
Right, but I have to just throw a little bit, or like I have to push back a little bit here, because I actually think that like the whole point of the princes that change is that they were princes to begin with. Like I don't think these stories are teaching people that if they just try hard enough, they can change somebody. Because I actually think that's a bad message, right? You should date a bad boy in order to try to change him. Like, let me just relationship advice from Facebook. In order to try to change him, that's not the message of Beauty and the Beast. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, it's not like Rapunzel tries to change him, though. If anything, she tries to get what she wants out of him, and it just happens to change him in the process. So, versus like actual like divorce problems.
Exactly.
Isn't this a theme of Saving Cinderella? In fact, that like the change that happens in princes is sort of motivated by their love for this princess who actually kind of is there already, not trying to change them, but just being wonderful and someone to aspire to.
I'm so glad you mentioned Saving Cinderella, my book. Saving Cinderella, what feminists get wrong about Disney princesses and how to set it right. Available now on Amazon. Click the link below this video to purchase. Also, no, but it's true, right? Like in real life, the idea would be that if you met the Flynn Riders or the Beasts or whoever of the world, like you wouldn't know that they had been that way. Like they would come into your life, you would change them without really knowing that you were changing them. And then you would be like, wow, look at this really great guy.
Right.
Like, it's not like, oh, look, a terrible guy who does awful, horrible things. Let me like see what I can do here. Like that's not the thing. There is a distinction because like neither Belle nor Rapunzel nor whoever else nor Anna from Frozen like tries to change the guy. Jasmine, well, Jasmine kind of does try, but I don't think that's really Aladdin's fault. Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel should get to your beef with Jasmine, right, because of the princesses. But can I ask a question beforehand, which is that, like, so we've now, I think, meaningfully discerned a distinction between kinds of princes, the sort of, as CJ put it, like the have it together princess and the not so have it together princess.
Yes.
And can we like correspondingly discern a distinction between their corresponding princesses? Like, are there different kinds of princesses that tend to gravitate towards have it or not have it together?
Yeah.
Princess. Yes.
That's a good question. Wait, are you saying yes, CJ?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
like, your whole beef with Pocahontas is that she doesn't do anything. She has kind of like a negative arc, you know, like as far as like she has to find herself, and then like she's found herself, and now she's more ready to be like embrace her role as princess. So
I think that she does something. She sanctimoniously sings in the face of a guy that she thinks is incredibly hot, thereby changing his entire worldview, thus, so that he does not want to be have changed. Except then he has to go back to his country where we're only there do they have the medical treatment that he needs. But yes, I agree. I think that Rapunzel is a tricky one, because I would kind of say that, like, for example, Belle is much less of an ingenue than like Snow White. Right? Like Snow White is someone who kind of, like, the prince has his stuff together. And so, and she's the one that's kind of like on a journey to become who she really is. And by the end, she is who she really is. And that's why she's like able to get together with the prince who's already fine. And I think that Belle is someone who, I sort of talk about this in the book, but it's like, she is someone who already knows who she is, and what she's looking for is acceptance. Like, she's not looking for, like, she's not trying to follow that dream of like becoming herself. She already is herself, but the people around her aren't okay with that. And so she's trying to find someone who can accept that. And it is her like amazing ability to be her true self all the time that the beast is drawn to. But I don't think that that's necessarily true of like Rapunzel, for example.
Well, like, there are 3 levels of conflict. So you have the interpersonal, where you have like Belle accepts herself, so she didn't have a problem there. And so like her conflict initially is more on the personal level, like between the people that she like lives with and around and stuff. And so she's trying to find like more like her place in the world. And then of course, like after that, you have like the external conflict, like stuff like that you don't have like usually a direct say in, like war or something. So we don't have to worry about that just yet. For her anyway. And I think with like Pocahontas is actually more in that interpersonal level, because she's actually pretty well situated with the people that she's surrounded. And she's like, oh, you're the chief's daughter and stuff. And then like the external conflict with the arrival of the settlers and everything, that kind of that's the catalyst for a lot of the problems. So I think that does have a lot to do with like the reason that her arc is so negative is because she actually has to go inward first instead of starting at a particular outward point.
Okay, but see, actually I was thinking about this earlier. So is John Smith, which category does John Smith belong in? Is he like okay with himself, or does he need to change? Because Pocahontas clearly thinks he needs to change. And she is like mad at him for his worldview. And in fact, he changes his worldview and talks to trees at the end and stuff. So, but on the other hand, like from my perspective, he was fine the way he was, right? Like I'm not in favor of like killing people or genocide, obviously, but I am in favor of like exploration and progress and
he actually said that in like his song. He's like, all of my life I've searched for a land like this one. And you have that, his personality, since he has traveled a lot, is very flexible, and it's big enough to incorporate that sort of personality change.
Right. So I kind of think like he belongs in the Prince Charming category, I think, because I think like he's kind of like okay with himself until he meets a hot girl and has to change his opinion in order to get with her. But that's okay. Anyway,
that's where nuance comes in. Yeah.
That's realistic, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I would just like to interject for one moment that at the end of this episode, whenever that may be, at the end of this episode,
some point in the near future.
Only one time.
So at the very beginning of Disney March Madness, we had people place bets for which prince they thought was going to be the ultimate winner. Some people have now dropped out of that. Like their prince is now out, sadly. I'm sorry for you guys. But
like me, for example.
Exactly, like you. But the people who are still in the running at the end of this episode are going to be entered into a drawing, and they will win these Elsa socks.
Wow.
Yes, Elsa socks are up for grabs today.
Big stakes.
Big stakes.
Yeah.
I'm dying to get rid of these.
Yeah, right. Why do you even have them?
Why do I even have them? It's a long story. We can talk about it.
Okay.
No, but so since it's still undetermined whether it will be Kristoff or Aladdin, people whose vote was Kristoff or Aladdin are still in it, as are people who voted or bet on the Beast or Flynn Ryder. So that will be one person will randomly be selected at the end of this episode. I also have another exciting giveaway for people who are currently watching. So if anybody's watching this at all, if anybody is at home watching now or listening, blah, blah, blah. Another thing that I am giving away is a spot in my Saving Cinderella class. So I'm doing a class based on the book Saving Cinderella. The next session meets this Sunday, March 17th at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's about The Little Mermaid, but I also have sessions on Beauty and the Beast and also Brave and Frozen. So I'm giving away a spot for free. Normally it's $25, and if anybody wants to sign up, there's a link at the bottom of this video. Here is how you can enter, though, to win a spot in any of those sessions, your choice. I am now going to ask a Disney Prince related trivia question. So don't you guys answer, because that
Wait, oh, what?
Okay, I didn't get your last one, so.
I can reveal that too also. Yeah, okay. Type into the chat box the answer to this question. What is the name of Aladdin's pet monkey? Type the answer into the chat box, and you will be entered for a chance to win a spot in Saving.
Actually, I'm not going to say it, but I actually know the answer to this one.
Exactly. Yeah. We picked one that I think people should know the answer. Last time the question was, what is the Beast's real name?
Oh, that's a good question, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yep.
Yes. And I already told CJ what it was.
Okay.
I had to ask.
Yeah. The answer is Adam. The Beast is Prince Adam, which I'm not entirely sure why or where that comes from. I imagine it's some sort of like sequel or fan theory or something. It's never ever mentioned in the movie, so it's like a fan thing.
It's a French name, so it probably would be something.
But I appreciate it because Adam is the first man, right? So he becomes a man anew. So I think that it is an appropriate name for the Beast.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say that. What's that?
I do like the symbolism / allegory / illusion.
Exactly.
It's good. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Pierre or something French, but
Pierre. Yeah. Yeah, no. So his name is Adam. But anyway, if you know the name of Aladdin's pet monkey, type it into the comment box now or anytime while we're still live, and you could win a spot in the Saving Cinderella class. And stay tuned till the end to find out who wins the Elsa socks, which also have a little Olaf on the bottom.
Oh, good.
You can step on him. Oh, maybe I do want them.
They have Olaf, and they say Elsa on them. Okay, I'm going to put those over there. So speaking of all of these princes, but mostly Aladdin and his pet monkey, we would be remiss if we did not discuss the new Aladdin trailer, which dropped, I think, yesterday, for the live action Aladdin, which comes out, I think, later this year. Did you guys see it? If so, what did you think?
I saw it multiple times.
So tell us your thoughts.
So I actually am really excited about this one. I wasn't really sure about Beauty and the Beast, because no offense to anybody involved, but Emma Watson is a hit or miss actress. So yes, very hit or miss. I know she's like universally beloved, but hit or miss films. So these are like new people, and they put in a very good PR campaign so far. And I thought, my kids will love this, because I actually bought them the animated one for Christmas. I swear I spent like $40 just to get the 50th anniversary edition. So, but it has a broader appeal, I think, on some level for everybody, because it's kind of like a down on his luck kid who wants to like grow up and get all these nice things, and that's kind of more of a like everybody can kind of relate to that, whereas Beauty and the Beast is like more of a romance and a coming of age, and honestly, in today's age, I don't think everybody grows up. So
fair.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I've known too many people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe then Peter Pan is the next one we should do. Yes. Okay. So I came away not a princess film. I know, but like not growing up. Okay, I came away from this experience, which I confess I had moments before logging on to have this conversation. So I'm also another thing that I'm sort of processing.
It's in your mind.
Exactly. Here we are. Like I've just seen it. It's like playing behind my eyelids at this very moment. I came away with a lot more questions than I had answers from this experience. So, I mean, I think probably like I'm going to go see this movie. I like Aladdin. It seems good. It seems like one of the main reasons to like do this thing that they're now doing, besides to make a lot of money, is to sort of do a little bit more world building than is possible in a cartoony sort of short film. And in Beauty and the Beast, I thought that really actually was like a nice feature, because like on the one hand, you pointed out quite rightly that their relationship actually is kind of weird if you expand it out. But on the other hand, like the characters were kind of complex, and there was some nice additions that could be made, and some of the side characters were more fleshed out, blah, blah, blah. Like I didn't come away from this commercial, with the exception actually of the scenes between Aladdin and the genie, the Will Smith genie. Once I got over the blue Will Smith thing, I sort of thought like those look fun. Like maybe there will be more to do and explore that. And basically it's like a Robin Williams tribute piece. Like, oh, that's sort of nice to see his character reanimated. And then I just sort of thought like, what else actually is there to this story besides what's already in the like animated feature? Like I don't actually need to know the backstory of the merchant in Agrabah who like sells him his, like I know everything that I need to know about the character already. Except then like suddenly I started to like move into this whole thing about like, are we going to have to deal with all this like PC stuff about Orientalism, or like what this movie is actually about? Like when Jasmine comes out and is like, he's like, I thought princesses could go anywhere. And she's like, not this princess. I'm like, gee, Jasmine, like, why doesn't anybody let you out of the house? Like, is it because you live in a culture that is like really uncomfortably like mistreating women? And like, how do we deal with that from a sort of cosmopolitanist perspective? So I have a lot of, those are my questions.
Yeah, well, I actually think that the Jasmine character and situation is kind of problematic here, because I mean, in the animated film, and it seems like in this movie, she's at least some of the time dressed like a harem girl. And in the very beginning of Aladdin, in the song One Jump, when he's like rushing through the streets of Agrabah, he actually ends up in a harem.
Oh, really?
And yeah, he ends up in some sort of brothel where there's like these girls dressed identically to Jasmine, except they have veils over their faces. And their colors of their clothes are different, but it's the exact same outfit. And there's a kind of like large older woman who seems to be in charge of them. So it's obviously a brothel, and he's landed in there, and they're sort of like, you know, disparaging him for being like a street rat or whatever. Right. And so Jasmine is dressed like those girls, I think, because maybe it's more palatable to us, right, than what she probably would have been wearing, which is like a burqa.
Which is right. Like, some sort of covering. Like, yeah,
exactly.
right.
Like she would have been probably covered from head to toe. I don't know about her face, but like, and so I think now, you know, with the live action version, it's kind of like, are you going to make it more realistic? And the problem is that so I have read that Jasmine gets a sort of new story arc where her issue is that she wants to rule her kingdom because she feels like her father and Jafar are kind of like, you know, not doing a good job or whatever. It's not like she wants to take over the power, but like she's concerned for her people. And she has this kind of like handmaiden sidekick who's not in the animated one, who like helps her along, etc. So I definitely think there's like a feminist thing going on there. I don't know what it is or how it's going to play out, but I think like bringing this movie into real life, right? And like making these characters non-animated brings up a lot of things, and like taking Robin Williams out of the picture, because even like Robin Williams is also the little merchant at the beginning who's like ostensibly telling the story, and it makes it less like offensive, right? Because it's like totally a caricature of like a sort of little fat like Middle Eastern man, but it's like, you know, it's Robin Williams and he's doing his Robin Williams thing, and he's like improvising with the different objects, and apparently like in the studio they just gave him a bunch of random stuff and said like do whatever, and so he's just literally like picking random stuff up and saying like, oh, this is like the Dead Sea Tupperware or whatever. So like that makes it all less kind of like, whoa, what is going on, than it would be in real life. So I don't really know how they're going to handle that in like PC world that we currently live in.
Yeah, right. PC world sucks sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would also like to take this moment to say that I legitimately miss Robin Williams like every day. Like I'm really sad.
I saw you tweet that. Why?
Why? I think just like he was making movies in like his movies were like mostly when I was a child. It's like that nostalgia thing, but like,
yeah.
And he just had this sort of like amazing like crazy energy, and he was just funny. But he was like funny, but he was also kind of like sweet. Like there was like a sort of like not real, but like personal kind of like connection that you could feel towards him. And then the genie, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's sad that he's gone.
No,
yeah,
right.
Robin Williams is like everybody's best friend. That,
right.
You know, like in Click World, like girls have like the queen bee, and then there's like the Duff.
Right.
Like in the regular world, you have like Robin Williams. So you could always be comfortable with yourself because you had Robin Williams next to you.
Oh, yikes. Yeah. No, it's true, actually, now that I think about it, because I guess because in the context of this conversation, I only thought of him as the genie, but he had all these kind of fatherly roles too, like in the much maligned Flubber, which I actually like have a soft spot for. He's like quite appealing. Is he in Flubber? He's in Flubber, right? And anyway, like, yeah, he plays all these dad characters, and like a lot of his humor is like really, really amped up dad humor, actually, now that I think about it. So maybe that's like part of it.
Yeah, and he's like in Good Will Hunting, he's like the therapist, and I don't know. Yeah,
true. That was a great movie. I love that movie.
Okay, anyway, what do we think, before we move on from the Aladdin trailer, Blue Will Smith? Was that like, should that have just stayed behind in the animated movie, the blueness, and he should have been something else? Or like, what do we think about this?
It's very, very difficult to know, because there's really no way to do the Aladdin genie in any other color than blue. And in fact, like, this speaks to a range of things in these live action ones where it's like, you know, the cartoony version is so iconic, but might not translate so great onto the screen. Yeah, I think they had to make him blue. I mean, we're also in this weird place in movies in general where like Samuel L. Jackson is being de-aged by however many years for Captain America, and like or Captain whoever, and all of this is sort of, and we're resurrecting Princess Leia from the dead to weirdly make her act in a movie without her consent, and like all sorts of things are kind of we're
Hashtag
so like
me too.
Hashtag, well, exactly. I mean, come on, you know, like you have to just sign a contract with the woman. And yeah, so like, I'm not sure that we yet know really how to navigate the fact that we have these like radical capacities to make people look weird and do stuff. But I think it'll probably be fine. I got over it in the course of the trailer, so I think it'll probably be good.
CJ, are you good with the Blue Will Smith?
Mostly. No, I'm okay with the blue part, but I felt like the genie is such a big personality that I honestly thought that they made him like look weird with like he either wasn't fat enough.
Yeah.
Like make him look like a human, or like make him not look like a human.
Right. I mean, even in the animated one, he's sometimes more human looking and has like flesh colored skin. Like when he's pretending to be part of the crowd, like when Prince Ali is coming.
Yeah.
Like he's not always blue, and it seemed like Will Smith is not always blue either. But it just, I'm not sure how I feel about it. But yeah, I feel a little weirded out by all of the kind of weird CGI things that they're doing to people now. So,
I like how they like juxtapose it, and juxtapose, by the way, is like one of my favorite words ever because I use a lot.
Good word. Yeah.
But like I like how they had it in there, like with the blue and the fantastical and everything, and then they had him like in the like his regular form with like sitting back and like, let's talk about this, and it was kind of like this jump between the supernatural and the more natural, and that kind of helps, I think, the film in many ways, because you don't want something like, it's not going to be completely real, but you still want something that's true. So
yeah. I mean, the other thing that I thought, and you know, there's that scene from the trailer where he is more natural looking, and they're talking about like what it means to make me a prince. right? Like I could.
A scene taken literally out of Saving Cinderella, by the way. That is like you actually could have lifted that scene.
Right. So this is what I'm going to say. I feel like a lot of these live action remakes are like, their like main directive is to like answer random fan questions and like feminist critiques of the movie. Like, but I feel like in Beauty and the Beast, it was like, no, wait, is every object enchanted, or are some of them just hairbrushes? It's like, who cares? You know, like, why do the villagers not know that there's a castle so close to them when this only happened to, who cares, right? But, and this, I'm a little worried that like, that's part of it. Cause it's like, I agree that the genie doesn't actually turn Aladdin into a prince, because I think turning him into a prince would like, necessitate that he is now in charge of like a principality and like has a whole bunch of subjects that he needs to take care of and rule. But and that's fine to like deal with that. But it was a little on the nose, like you look like a prince on the outside, but you're not a prince on the inside. It's kind of like, yeah, that's the whole point of like, the entire movie is basically that statement. So stop.
Well, that isn't that like also kind of a feature of making these things into live action movies, that suddenly everything is quite literal, everything needs to make a lot of sense and kind of cohere in like normal human terms, none of which seems I'm kind of interested in this once we move on. The one that I am most excited for is The Lion King. I'm so excited, but it's not live action. In fact, it's like CGI. And I really want to know if we're going to have to deal with like animals tearing each other to shreds and like, you know, like all the hideous like vicissitudes of the animal.
Spencer.
Yeah, I'm still really confused about why we're having a live action Lion King. Like, I really like the movie of The Lion King, but it's clearly an animated film. I mean, they're animals. And it's like, it isn't live action. Like, they're not going to find like a bunch of talking lions and like,
no, it's like definitely CGI.
Right. So yeah, I don't know what that's going to be. We'll see. And then Dumbo is coming out really soon too, right?
That totally passed me by. I was driving on like La Brea the other day, and suddenly there were all these posters for Dumbo.
Yeah, I think it's coming out this month, actually.
Yep. Later I think it's either this week or next week. End of the month.
Yeah, they just decide
creeped out by the
decide like Dumbo is not an important Disney movie, so we're just gonna like put it out there.
Well, there's a lot of backlash like in the media, like in general, like if you like look at YA Twitter, like there's been a lot of news about like tanking book sales and like making like getting them unpublished before they're published because they're problematic in some way against culture, kind of rears its ugly head.
Right.
And so I think because Dumbo itself has a lot of criticism, especially with like the Jim Crows and everything.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about that part of the movie.
Yeah. And I think they're kind of hoping that they can kind of sneak it in so it'll be enough to get people interested, but it'll also be like not enough that people will be like, I need to make a YouTube video about how triggered I am.
No, I think that's a really weird movie. Anyway, moving on. So I would like to now play some games for the last part of this. I mean, we're already having so much fun, but let's have more fun. And just a reminder to people watching at home, tell me the name of Aladdin's pet monkey for a chance to win by typing it into the comment box for a chance to win a spot in the Saving Cinderella class. Okay. I would like us to play for just a moment a game of Disney Prince Would You Rather. I'm going to ask you some questions. Would you rather this or that? And I would like to hear your answer and why. The first question is, would you rather be stuck in an elevator with Flynn Ryder or Aladdin? Let's go with CJ first.
Oh man, tough choice. Probably Flynn.
Why?
He seems to have more acrobatic skills with like ropes and stuff. So, you know, you kick open the top, get the ropes, have him climb up and, I don't know, save the day. So.
Yes, although Aladdin is pretty good at parkour.
Yeah, that's true. I think, though, Flynn is more like, I could probably manipulate him better.
Aladdin, who you're stuck in an elevator with is a really important thing.
Subterfuge is one of the central tenets of any elevator relationship.
Right. All right, Spencer, who would you be stuck in an elevator with?
Well, I mean, CJ was much more practical about this because, like, I was just imagining that whichever prince and I were stuck in the elevator, we're going to be quietly waiting to get chatting and waiting for the authorities to get us out. Yeah, we're going to call the fire brigade or whatever, press the little button. So given that, I definitely think that I would rather have an 2 hour long conversation with Flynn Ryder than with Aladdin. I don't actually have much to say to Aladdin, despite the fact that I enjoy his movie.
Well, there is the question too if Abu would be with him, because I don't want to deal with monkey poo problems. So
that's true. He brought his monkey, whose name we will not say because it's
his secret monkey. The monkey who shall not be named.
Yes. So yeah, I find Aladdin to be a little bit whiny. So I think I would Flynn, and if we were going to try to escape, I don't know. Aladdin's pretty good at escaping, but then he doesn't.
Aladdin would be the one because he can pick locks and stuff. I don't know why that would be relevant to elevators, but it seems close enough.
All the locks they have in the elevator.
I rewatched Aladdin a lot in the recent months because I just bought it for my kids and they love it. So, but I think Aladdin gets lucky a lot more than he should.
All right. So Flynn Ryder is the one we want to be in the elevator with. Okay, next question. Would you rather fight a dragon or a giant snow monster?
Snow, because I want to do the snow one because I've always wanted to use a flamethrower. And I think that would be the perfect instance. If I'm fighting a snow monster, I could have a flamethrower.
That would be a short fight. Yes. That would work out very well.
Yes, Spencer, a dragon or a snow monster?
Oh, this is like some say the world shall end in fire, some in ice. I think that I want to fight a
crossbow. So the answer's in his name.
Yes. Doesn't he say, from what I've tasted? Anyway, I think he goes with fire in that poem. But I think I have to go with the dragon because if I'm gonna have one villain fighting prince-like experience, I want it to be the classic kind of hang it on my wall, get whatever certificate. I assume the princes get certificates after don't they get trophies or something? I assume that I want something to hang on my wall that says I survived fighting a dragon. I'd like it to be Maleficent's dragon. I think that's the coolest one. And
would your head turn back into Maleficent's head to hang on the wall, or would it still be the dragon head?
Oh, I don't want to hang the head. There's not going to be any head hanging of any kind.
I thought that was the trophy we were discussing.
Oh, no. You just have a taxidermy, post-dragon fighting.
That's the trophy.
No, I meant one of those participation trophies that you get after you played baseball in 6th grade.
I see.
I want a little thing for my trophy case. Or just a certificate, anything at all.
Plaque.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, although if you were going to hang a head of your defeated monster on your wall, it would be really messy to hang a snow monster's head on your wall, which would immediately melt.
Oh, I get the pike out, So,
right. Okay. Fair enough.
I was just going to say snow monster because it's easier. But anyway, moving on. Okay, this is the last one for this game, and then I have one other thing. I have lots of questions. I'm going to pick one. Okay, would you rather have a genie show up and say that he will grant you 3 wishes, or a fairy godmother who shows up at a random time to solve a random problem of her choosing?
Wow. I would rather have stipulated that this fairy godmother has trustworthy judgment.
Yes. Okay.
I would rather have somebody that I trusted looking at my life from outside and telling me this is what's good for you, than be able to just determine it's very hard. I think that because basically I'm comparing this to would I rather have God, who does sometimes intervene in your life for the better in ways that don't seem good to you all the time, or would I rather have me who am sort of capable of going about trying to accomplish my goals most of the time? And I feel like I want the fairy godmother. The fairy godmother is is less appealing, but I think that would probably be better in the long run.
All right. And CJ, what would you go with?
Probably the fairy godmother too, but I would be really, really tempted to say the genie for the first 5 minutes. You have to go through that. I really, really want X, Y, and Z, but that could cause me more problems down the line. So like,
that's a really good point, because then if you have the genie, like the consequences, whatever sort of like mistaken consequences of your choices are totally on your own head. Whereas if the fairy godmother's intervention goes wrong, that's just like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Just like showing up what's wrong with you.
a fairly equal.
I would go with the fairy godmother too, because I wouldn't necessarily trust myself to know it was right.
Right. Yeah.
Like I when I was thinking about this earlier, I was making the God comparison too, because I feel like frequently, like I think I want something, and it turns out it's like completely the wrong thing, and God had a whole different plan, and that was the right plan. So I would definitely want, like, if the fairy godmother was a sort of God like figure who kind of knew what was best for me, then I would want her to sort of show up and save the day at whatever moment I needed.
Yes.
Right.
That live action remake actually didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So
Cinderella.
Yeah,
I thought Cinderella was just like really pretty, but didn't really add very much to the story. Anyway, we can come back to that, because I now want to play. This is actually what I've been waiting for, and we're almost out of time. So, okay. I put out a call on Twitter for to play Disney Prince Mad Libs. I asked people to just tell me an adjective, a verb, and a noun. And I have been at home filling them in diligently into my Disney Prince Mad Libs, but I would like you guys to finish it for me, and then we're going to read it. I now will confess that my sense of humor is pretty much like confined to like Mad Libs, autocorrect fails, and like sentences that are completed by predictive text. Like I don't think there's anything funnier than those things. So I may not be able to do this without laughing, but we'll see. But I now have a couple of things that I still need us to fill in. Oh, and if anybody's watching at home and they don't know what Mad Libs are, Mad Libs is what is wrong with you, but also it's a story where there are blanks, and then I just ask people for like whatever kind of word is in the blank, like a noun or a verb or whatever, and then but they don't know the story, and then I fill it in, and then we read the story, and it's hilarious, and then we move on. So, okay, I'm going to start with Spencer. Spencer, I need a term of endearment.
Oh, snuggums.
What?
Snuggums. Snuggums.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you for the spelling of that. CJ, I need a noun.
Food.
What? Food?
Food. I'm hungry.
Food. Okay. All right.
Movie talk, popcorns.
Yes, exactly. All right, Spencer, I need a body part.
Oh dear.
Keep it PG for the kids.
Keep it PG.
Yes, right. No, certainly. Yeah. Eyebrow.
Eyebrow. Okay. And CJ, I need another body part.
Ear.
Okay. And Spencer, I need an adverb.
Angrily.
Okay, excellent. Here we go. Disney Prince Mad Libs. I will now read as best I can. You guys feel free to laugh, but I will try not to.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Okay. Once upon a koala, there lived a gusty prince who longed for a red panda. All his life, the prince had fly fished from cellophane to hair, seeking his heart's desire. One ephemeral day, the prince assassinated into a greasy town and saw an outrageous maiden hanging her sandwich at the Strait of Gibraltar. The prince approached her and said, "My snuggums, I have been destroying the country in search of red pandas. But I see now that my food is done. Marry me." The mammoth maiden flung her eyebrow around the prince's ear and said, "I don't have any nuggets, but I do have a machine gun." Fine, okay. But I do have a machine gun, and I know they're very glittery together. And they lived angrily ever after. Yeah. Oh, sorry, okay, I thought it was going to be better than that.
Oh my goodness, can you
He does
publish
have a
that?
machine gun, people. So,
Wow.
Whoever added that machine gun part.
Oh, that's
She
great.
doesn't have any nuggets, but she does have a machine gun.
That's like a feminist rewriting of the thing. Hanging her sandwich by the Strait of Gibraltar.
She's hanging her sandwich, but she doesn't have any nuggets.
No nuggets.
No nuggets. Just a sandwich. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Luckily, we're done now. And all that remains is for me to choose the winner of the Elsa socks, and then I'm going to also just tell you exactly what's going to happen next for Disney March Madness. All right.
Great.
So the Elsa socks go to. I have this special thing, random name picker. So I'm now going to press a button and tell you who wins these Elsa socks. The answer is. Hold on, that didn't work. The answer is Katie Robinson.
Oh, Katie Robinson,
Katie
another person
Robinson.
whom I know on Twitter, but not in person.
Oh, that's right. You win Elsa socks. I will reach out to you and get them to you however you want, probably in the mail. So that is that. Again, you have like people watching at home have like 1 more minute to type in the name of Aladdin's pet monkey to win a spot in the Saving Cinderella class. So here are some things that are going to happen in the next week or so for Disney March Madness. I know that a lot of you were very concerned when you saw the bracket that there were only 3 slots in the, I guess it's semifinals. I don't really understand sports, but anyway, in the one that happens before the last one. And there was much weeping and wailing in that series about this and how this would all go. So let me explain what is going to happen. The reason there are 3 is because when you start with 12, then you go to 6, and then you go to 3. That's just math. Right. So what will happen is the first poll will be a 3-way vote between all the 3 of those people, and the one that wins that will automatically move on to the finals, and then there will be another poll of just the 2 that didn't make it, and whichever one wins that will go on. So that is how that will work. Everybody, please calm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crisis averted.
Crisis averted.
We know what we're doing. We swear.
I swear we have this all under control.
The government. We're confident enough.
Yeah, I'm here losing my stuff reading Mad Libs, but we really do know what is going on here. The other really cool and exciting thing that is happening, I'm really excited about this. The next video, the next Princess State of Mind, I guess that will happen, is going to be a game show. Ooh. We are going to crown the biggest fan of each of the 2 princes that will be competing in the final matchup. So
wow.
If you and the game show, you viewers at home can be on the game show. So stay tuned. I'm going to be sending out how to apply to be a contestant on the game show. But we are going to have people competing here live for the crown of biggest fan of whichever prince it is that
amazing
left. Okay, so there's that. And then also stay tuned for once we're down to 2, I think we're going to do some live tweets of the movies. So CJ and I will we'll pick movies to watch, and we
will take on this very tiresome task for you.
Yes, exactly. We will do this for you. We will watch these movies and tweet out our thoughts. So all those things are coming up. So check back in with us and follow us. And thank you so much for being with us on this crazy wild ride. Thank you, C.S. Johnson. Thank you, Spencer Klavan. And it's been a pleasure. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.